Hey guys, I wanted to share with you today my seed potatoes. I am planning on planting out some white Kennebec potatoes in my garden this year. So what I did is I went to my local farmer store and I bought these in a 50-pound bag. Now the first thing that I do with these is I take them out of the burlap bag that they come in. And if you're buying them in massive quantities like this, you're gonna find that you're gonna have some that maybe are starting to rot. So the first thing that I do is I take all those rotten ones out. After I remove those rotten potatoes, I will go ahead and cut off the rotten parts and try to salvage any good potato that's left. So these are my ones that were rotting. So you can see here, I went ahead and cut, and I've got a little eye here. I've just really been letting these dry out for a few weeks just because it was way too early to plant them and I was trying to salvage them. Typically you don't want to cut them that soon. You really want to cut them about 3 days to possibly even 1 week before you plant them out. So that's what I do with my rotten ones. The other ones I simply just lay on garbage bags in a room that I keep around 50 to 55 degrees. So it's nice and cool in here. It is very bright in here, and that's going to encourage these potatoes to sprout. I buy my seed potatoes about 6 to 8 weeks before I'm ready to plant them out. That ensures two things for me. One, I'm gonna get the potatoes that I want. They will be available. And two, I will have time to sprout them. It's been about 6 weeks since I've gotten these. Now there's a lot of debate on whether or not you should sprout your potatoes, but for me, I think it gives them a nice head start. And also, if they didn't have the eyes formed on them, I worry that if I place them into my garden, that they would sit in the soil for so long that they could possibly rot. And we tend to get a lot of rain in the winter season. And so that rain combined with the amount of time to sprout, I just don't want to lose any of them. I'm very, very frugal or cheap. When you're sprouting your potatoes, I suggest checking on them every couple of weeks. You want to make sure that you're getting a small, stubby sprout. You do not want a long, spindly sprout. And the reason for that is because if you have a long, tall sprout, the potato has just expended a great deal of energy to produce that. You just want to get them started like this and then prepare them to plant out. So now that these potatoes have been sitting up here sprouting for about 6 weeks, I'm ready to cut them. And I'm going to cut them to increase my harvest. So I'm going to show you guys how I cut them and what I'm looking for when I do that. When you go to cut your seed potatoes, you want to make sure you have a nice clean knife. And what you're looking for is a potato that has multiple sprouts on it. Now, if it has just one sprout, you can go ahead and just put that directly in the ground. Or if it's a small potato like this one, I wouldn't cut this because the potato piece is actually what gives the plant the energy to produce these sprouts and form a plant and then form your potato. So I don't want to take away too much of the potato. So this guy will go directly in my ground. I want to leave about 2 to 3 eyes per piece. 2 is really a better number for me. I want to ensure that I get large potatoes. So if you want large potatoes when you harvest them, you're going to want to leave fewer sprouts on your seed potato. If you want a smaller potato when you harvest, you can leave a bunch of different sprouts on there. So I want large potatoes for storage, so I'm gonna go with 2 sprouts. But this guy's really big, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's got a little one over here, so 4 bigger size ones. So what I'm gonna do is just decide how I wanna cut this, and I think I'm actually just gonna cut it like this. I'm gonna come down, so now I have this piece here with 2 eyes on it, and this piece here with 2 eyes, and then 1 more over here. This smaller eye, I do not know if that one's gonna be viable. It may be just fine and it may grow, but it does have the chance of dying because it is smaller. So I want to go ahead and plant this piece as it is and this one as well. Now, once I cut my potatoes, I have these trays and I just simply will lay them with the cut side down. And this is going to give them some good air circulation to help dry that out. Now, I have heard of people throwing these directly in the ground like this. In fact, my mother does that and she's very successful with it. But again, I'm very concerned about my potatoes rotting. So a couple of days out in just kind of a cool, dry area will help to heal these over and decrease that risk of disease. Some people also dip these in wood ash. That's going to help them to heal as well as give them a boost of potassium as they start growing. These will probably sit here for about a week drying because I'm not quite ready to get them out until 1 more week. So this potato has an eye here, and there's 2, 3, 4. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to cut right between these guys right here. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and lay these in our tray. This guy here, he's got a bunch over here and he has one right here too. I'm gonna take a chance on him because he has so many right here. I'm gonna take a chance on him maybe and cut him like that. This eye is very small, but maybe it will grow, and this one looks pretty good. So here's another one. And here's one that we have sprouts. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could cut him like this, where we have that big sprout here, and then we have a little one there, and then I have 3 on this plant here. I've got a bit more work here ahead of me to cut all of these seed potatoes. I'm doing these things to increase my production. I'm very focused on high production and high yield to feed my family. So that is the reason why I spend the time to sprout as well as to cut my seed potatoes. I feel as though it gives me a better yield at harvest. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. If you guys have any other tips or tricks, throw them in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me.